Everything is here from the origin of cryptozoology. My name is Charlie Mushaw. I have multiple degrees in science and tech. My passion for cryptozoology is a lifelong study, and I use modern technology to discover things that just weren't possible in the past. There's physical specimens here. Yeah, we've got castings, we've got skulls, bones.
That's the Gigantopithecus skull.
I'm Brittany Barbieri, and I'm a cryptozoologist.
I believe that there are hidden animals that have not been discovered yet. We had the Komodo dragon, we had the snub-nosed monkey, and even the giant squid. Something that was just a myth is now fact. This is years and years of work.
Sanderson was absolutely brilliant. He was a zoologist, the first to bring real science to the hunt for cryptids.
This is unbelievable.
Nobody has access to this.
He spent 5 decades proving and disproving the existence of creatures, but he has files on hundreds of cases that were never solved. That's where we come in. Once Brittany and I got access to the archive, we spent weeks combing through the binders. We're going to find some of Sanderson's biggest files, and we are going to carry that investigation forward.
Hold on, Charlie. I got a call from a farmer. He's in North Carolina.
Okay.
We literally have a carcass to go examine. He doesn't understand how his animal died, but it's been drained of blood. And there's been other farmers in the area that are seeing things, and this is happening to their livestock as well. This isn't just one account. And it honestly sounds a lot like a Chupakabra.
The Chupakabra was first discovered in Puerto Rico in 1995 as a bat-like creature that mutilated livestock. But in North America, its name is synonymous with a strange canine known for nocturnal hunting and draining its victims' blood.
So North Carolina.
Yes.
My backyard.
Yes.
We have all kinds of legends.
I know.
We do not have Chupacabra. And Sanderson was actually, long before the word Chupacabra was ever coined or like entered pop culture, was looking into hybrid canines as a source of cattle mutilations.
So he was looking at different species because this is a dire wolf. And then this is the canine genus, so all dog genus.
The dire wolf is not merely a wolf. It is a monster that roamed North America for tens of thousands of years, with jaws that could demolish the 10-ton, long-tusked mastodon, with evidence of it straying in the Ozarks merely 4,000 years ago. I suspect there is a chance this terrible dog interbred with other canines and continues to stalk us like its prey.
I mean, obviously, Ivan was trying to figure out the same thing at his time, and it's still happening now. But what is it that we're dealing with? And the fact that we have an actual physical body to examine, I might be able to cross-reference our research to Sanderson's files.
That actually reminds me, big story that broke, in 2007 out of Texas was labeled a Chupacabra.
Right.
The body was taxidermied by a scientist named Phyllis Canyon, and it was a canine. I want to go to Texas. I'd like to take a 3D scan of the specimen and then compare that to the skull from Sanderson's research.
So if I get to the farm and I have the body, we can line it up with whatever you find out in Texas and see if we're dealing with the same thing or if it's a completely different animal altogether.
These files give us an opportunity to see right into Ivan Sanderson's frame of mind. So we're going to try to use his methods and finally document a new and deadly species. We'll measure the gathered evidence against his classification index. That will help us determine if this creature is a known animal species, a Lazarus species, something formerly thought to be extinct, or is an entirely new species altogether. I'll head to Texas to examine the taxidermied specimen. Meanwhile, Brittany will head to Alexander, North Carolina, where there's been recent sightings and livestock mutilations. Our job is to make as much of the unknown known, and finally, document proof of this elusive creature.
The Appalachian Mountains are the intersection of two of the largest downs in North America, with large expanses of the treacherous landscape unexplored. I'd say the possible and improbable are lurking in the wilderness.
Ivan Sanderson in his files, he was looking at reports of hybrid dogs. And he was looking into these weird, strange accounts way before Chupakabra was even coined.
20 miles out of Alexander, North Carolina, Brittany, along with predator expert Troy Lilly and tracking expert Justin Igualada, head to a farm that's been the site of recent attacks. The farm is located on the Blue Ridge Mountains, a 615-mile highlands that's a piece of the larger Appalachian mountain range. The region is home to numerous predators, including black bears and coyote.
Whatever is killing these animals, it isn't eating them, it's just biting their necks and draining their blood.
Like main two large holes in the neck.
Also, we have to take into consideration, there's a lot of predators out here. You know, you also have venomous snakes, and venomous snakes can really put you down.
Troy is my older brother. He's extremely skilled as an animal behavioralist when it comes to cryptids. He's one of those guys that he has to see it to believe it.
My name is Troy Lilly, and I'm an animal behaviorist with over 30 years of experience with wildlife, from hoofstock to large apex predators.
Spider monkey.
Every living thing is a cryptid if it hasn't been seen yet. Our job is to come out here and isolate everything that it could be before we jump to that conclusion.
If it's a nasty bite, what's going to happen is if you get bit on the neck, for one, that's next to vital organs. If it hits the jugular, it doesn't take much. My name is Justin Igualada. A lot of people call me Bite Force. I've been working with wildlife since I was a child. I've tracked and captured alligators, crocodiles, cougars, leopards, jags. Got missing body parts. Accidents can happen. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and it's how you handle it.
I think that's our guy right there.
Brittany, Troy, and Justin meet with a local farmer who's had some strange animal deaths on his property.
We have to walk away from this with as much evidence as possible for our best chance of being able to document whatever this creature is.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, Jeff. I'm Brittany.
Hi, Brittany.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Let's meet you, Troy.
My name's Jeff. I'm a farmer. I raise cattle and hay. I got 65 acres. There ain't no telling what's out here, but I know that something's out here because it's been getting after my animals. There's a lot of animals here, man. We got black bear, bald eagles, bobcats, coyotes.
And no people.
I'm the last house on this dead-end road, and, I mean, there's nothing between me and the river. So, I mean, we're pretty isolated here.
That's how I want to live.
That actually sounds pretty nice.
So you've seen weird things out here then, I'll bet.
Yeah, something's been getting after my animals, man. Yeah, I got this other 100-pound pig that just got killed the other night, man.
Okay, so we got a fresh one then.
Yeah, man.
So when an animal passes away, if you want to find out what the exact cause was, you have a time frame to work in. To my knowledge, this guy's been out here for about 10 hours, so we're already against the clock. I'm gonna try and pull as much information as possible, so I need to start that like yesterday.
I came out here one morning to feed, and I found a 1,000-pound cow here in my cow enclosure with 2 puncture wounds on her neck.
So where exactly was she sitting? Was she like behind the wall? Was
She was
like
about 20 feet from this wall right here, in between them 2 posts, just laying on that ground, just deader than hell.
And you looked it over, no mutilation, no blood, nothing? Nope. And no disease, right? Didn't affect any of the other cattle. I mean, you figure if it was disease, they'd start falling off.
Absolutely.
So after talking to Jeff, he said that he has had 3 separate incidences where he's found dead animals. Could that be coincidence? Absolutely. Could it be a trend?
Once we put some signs to it, we can verify to really know what's going on.
Down over there, I don't know if you guys can see that tree line over there past those power lines.
I do.
I found a dead deer down there, and it had the same markings on it as my cow.
All right, so that's 2.
This is my pig pen. But I come out here, and look what I found.
Oh my God.
Poor little buddy.
Oh, man.
When we're looking at a case like this, something that really baffles the mind is an abandoned kill. Normally, when a predator kills something, it's to eat it. They're doing that for a purpose. They're wasting a lot of energy to do that, and they're gonna do that to get more energy by consuming the food that they need. So for something to just leave the kill there, it leaves this big mystery of why.
Has the goat been in here the whole time, too?
That's Penny. We don't eat Penny.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the whole area. We're gonna find out what possibly killed it, rather that be footprints, tracks, hair, any of that type of stuff first. That's a good indicator of what did happen. I don't see any tracks. Bear prints would be very relevant in here.
There's parts of it that doesn't make any sense logically, but there is one thing I just don't see, and that's blood. So,
Guys, when you start looking at the pig,
Yeah.
can you look and see what kind of bite wounds it may or may not have? And then I'm gonna talk to Jeff and get a little more information on what he remembers seeing when we talked about encounters he had.
Feel like going in the shade and
Yeah, I
maybe
would
grabbing
love
a
that.
seat? All right, cool.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times when I'm investigating and I'm interviewing somebody, it's really important that I hear their account.
It's a little dusty. You
Nah, I don't. Nope.
Sure.
Totally fine. Yep.
Sanderson's files helped guide me. I loved his investigative tactics because he did his own sketches, much like myself. Because I just want to get more details, as much as you can remember.
I was up on the hill watching the sunset. So, I mean, it was starting to get dark, but I could see something on the backside of that hill against the tree line. I could see something moving. And at first I thought it was a coyote, but it was bigger. It was bigger, it was thicker. Its head and its nose were bigger. I was like, man, that wasn't a coyote, that must have been a wolf, but there ain't no wolves around here. Hadn't
Right.
been for over 100 years. But what really got me was the green eyes. I didn't have a light where it could be reflecting off its eyes. It was like its eyes was glowing on their own.
And the body color?
But like I say, it was dark outside, but
Yeah.
it definitely wasn't tan like a coyote.
Yeah.
It was a real dark gray, almost black.
Did it look like it had hair on it, or did it look more skin-like?
It was almost like it was kind of mangy looking.
Okay. I'm gonna show you what I sketched, and you tell me if this matches what you've seen.
Whoa,
Is that similar?
that's real similar.
Looking him in the eyes, I firmly believe that he did see something out of place for what he knows for his farm. I want nothing more than to discover the Chupakabra. But have you talked about your account with anybody else in the area? Any of the other buddies that are farmers around here?
The same thing has happened to at least 2 or 3 farmers.
Do you think I could talk to any of them? Would they be willing to talk?
I'm pretty sure that if a gal with blonde hair bought them a beer, they might tell you about a Chupakabra or 2.
They probably would.
Let's get it up on the table.
Sorry, dude. So anytime we have a death that's mysterious, we'll do a necropsy. We're gonna be looking for any punctures, damage to the body. The feet look good.
When you first see Justin, he looks like he's been thrown through a meat grinder and then dressed up and sent out to the street. But once you really understand him, Justin has talents that are way beyond almost anybody I've ever met, including a lot of vets. He's very talented, from husbandry to breeding, tracking. His knowledge goes really, really far.
I mean, there's some lacerations on the arm, superficial, nothing deep. There's a massive laceration here on the snout, so that could be some defensive wounds right there, Troy.
What the is that?
Well, those are wounds.
Yeah, they
That
are.
could be a bite mark.
Oh, right in the side of the neck, huh?
Yeah.
So you're looking at a 2-inch bite gap, man.
The bottom punctures are smaller.
Which is indigenous to a dog bite. So is there anything other than the vampire bat that would suck blood out of this animal?
I mean, the best way to find out, we're gonna have to open this up. The tonsils do look a little funky, to be honest with you. And that's right next to where the bite is. But I am gonna take the full tonsil.
So normally when you're investigating an animal that's dead, you want to know if it was taken by a predator. Generally, they're consumed. And there are animals that feed on blood, mosquitoes, vampire bats, but they eat off the victim while it's still alive. The fact that this animal is dead and still fully intact is weird.
The mosquitoes and like vampire bats, they have like, I don't know if you would call it, I think it would be an analgesic. No. It's a painkiller. It's a topical painkiller.
I got you, so they don't feel it.
But this animal clearly felt the wound. Like there's defensive wounds all over this animal. The broad analysis that I can give off of the necropsy, I can pretty much cut out any large cat. Predatory cats, when they go for the kill, they have surgical knives for hands. They're gonna use that to grab, subdue the prey. They wanna kill it as quickly as possible. Bear's a little bit different. Using the mouth is to pull up while using the claws to kind of shred the meat as it goes. Based off what I'm looking at, the animal looks okay. The only thing we're seeing is these bite marks.
Ugh. See the bite right there?
And there's another mark right there.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's a bite underneath and then the 2 bites on top.
What we can put in is canines. I think that would be the closest thing that I can assert from the information that I have in front of me right now.
What would you guys say is your best guess at this point?
Best educated guess would be like a loner coyote.
A coyote taking down a cow is pretty unlikely, I'm just saying.
Right.
It didn't have any blood everywhere, and there was no big prints. There's so many scenarios that we just really don't know much about to really pinpoint anything just yet.
The whole thing's perplexing. With the account of his cow, and now we got this pig, I mean, you're talking about some pretty weird.
Okay, so I talked to Jeff about his encounter. I went ahead and sketched what he saw, and basically this is the best description of the image of what he saw. A lot of animals, and in some cases large predators, will only go to a certain proximity away from their home or their nesting or their dens. So we aren't really sure what we're dealing with at this point. We don't know its behavior, and it might stay in a small proximity. He mentioned to me today that he has other people in the area that have similar sightings. So I think it would actually be beneficial if we could get with those individuals, maybe locally in town, and hear more of the reports, and maybe try to make some connections of some type of animal or what animal this might be.
Well, the more information you get us, the better we can do.
I personally want to hear their accounts to make sure and confirm that what they're seeing is the Chupakabra.